Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mary Jane and this is MJ Money Matters. Here in this space, I show you how I use the zero-based budgeting method to control and maintain a simplified money life. And if that sounds like content that you're interested in, I would love it if you would hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and stick around for more. So if you've watched a couple of my previous videos, the last two, they have changed the way that we're going to be paid at work. So I work in fine dining, and we always have to have cash on us every day that we work. I work 5 days a week to tip out. And I tip out my server assistant and I tip out the bar. It's a percentage on each. And it just depends on my sales for the day. So I might have an incredibly large party that I end up tipping out more because they ordered more. Or I might have, something that went on a corporate card where they're very much trying to impress a client. And it might be 4 people, but, they bought a $500 bottle of wine. So then I'm going to be giving a much bigger tip out to the bar than, probably the other servers in the restaurant that night. And that's just how it works. So I have to travel with lots of cash specifically, cash money. And this is cash budgeting, right? So the problem is they have changed it to where at previous restaurants, I would get my money every day. I would get my money and move forward. And it made it much easier to budget, especially with cash stuffing. Put it in my little envelopes and move on with my life. Because whatever I owed the house, the restaurant, for tip out, I just took out of the money that I made. Easy peasy. Well, at this other restaurant, which I've been there for a while, I think 8 months. So you'd think I'd got the hang of it, but they just made another change. But I have to bring the cash. I have to tip out every time in cash. And if I made cash, people paid in cash, I got to keep that. And then it would go against the credit card tips. And so sometimes I would get both credit card tip credit to go on a paycheck and get to keep the cash, which made life much easier. That's how I bought groceries. That's how I would get gas most of the time. That's how I do my fun stuff. And then I would rely on that paycheck, keeping a track of all the credit card tips that I made for that week, knowing that I was going to get X amount the next Friday. But it really started to make it hard because it was really unclear how much money you'd have to take, and then you'd have to have a lot of money on hand. And then I would budget, every dollar has an amount, right? It's zero budgeting. And I'd put it aside into my envelopes, and then I would have to steal from those envelopes. Not because I wanted to, but because I have to bring the cash. And so I was keeping track for a while of like, oh, I owe Weebly this amount, and I owe, DTE this amount. And I was having to rob so much for this tip out, that I have now every single envelope is empty. Well, they've just changed it yet again to where we're not getting to keep any cash. If there is someone who paid in cash, we have to pay them at the end of the night. And you just have to wait for the check. But yet I'm still having to bring cash every single day, and a lot of it. So it is becoming very, very difficult to just maintain the job. I don't know how other people are doing it. They're really not. I mean, there's definitely, just pure transparency. There are people that are looking for other jobs, people that have just, they're like, you're making us do what? No, I quit. And so, when people undertip us because we only have an auto gratuity on parties of 6 or more, and when people stiff us or when they give us, very, very much less than 20%, it really screws with me bad in my ability to keep moving forward because I've lost my forward momentum from the cash into the envelopes, and I'm having to backtrack so much for money that I'm supposed to get later. But it's like I'm losing the money that I'm having to tip out, but I can't really budget correctly because of the money that I'm going to need to take out from my future money, if that makes any sense. It's hard. The good thing is my second job has just kicked in. The school year has begun, and I'm working in special education in the English department for a high school. I will get a paycheck every Friday that I work. Now, I'm a contractor, so I'm not a teacher who's going to get paid all year round. Like, I am a contractor that works hourly, and so I get paid for the hours that I work. And so today is a 4-day weekend for Labor Day. So it's like I'm not going to be paid today. I'm not going to be paid Monday. And that's kind of okay because I'm enjoying my little break. And I had a flat tire again. This is the third flat tire this month. And it was like literally the new tire I got 3 weeks ago. First tire that was flat. But hey, I have new lug nuts. Yeah, so that was an unexpected, craziness that I had to deal with this morning. And it is what it is, but it's frustrating. And luckily I had the time to deal with it. So I'm just going to be grateful for that and move forward. But in moving forward with this job in service in hospitality, whatever you want to call it, I will be setting aside $100 for the tip out, but I don't know. Having that second job means that I have some flexibility there. I have some wiggle room. I have everything set up to where everything I'm making as a server goes to living expenses, and everything I'm making in the school is either going to savings or it's going to sinking funds. But that doesn't mean it's set in stone. Like I can, there is some flexibility there. So in the summer, I didn't have any flexibility because I only had one side hustle. And it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to give me a cushion. And every time it was like, oh, okay, I'm kind of caught up on the tip bank. I would have another week of, really high sales, which I'm grateful for, but it would just deplete me. And then it screwed up all my cash envelopes, So it's like I'm putting aside a certain money, to my cell phone every month so that in 3 months when it's due, you just pull it out and pay it. In theory, that's great. But I'm having to steal from myself, which I don't want to do, and which negates the whole cash stuffing at all, but it's just the way this job works. It's my understanding that this is the way it's going to be moving forward January 1 at all restaurants in Michigan. I mean, not everybody has tip out, but the way that it's like there is no cash and everything has to be, reported and put on your paycheck. So, that's not the hardest part. The hardest part is floating the tip outs while waiting for money. And so we work Monday through Sunday, and then we get paid the following Friday. So if you have a bad week and the next week you have a good week, it's really hard to get from the little money that you got from the bad week to forward to the good week, if that makes sense, because I have to forward so much money to the tip out, but I need to pay bills. And so this is the best way I can explain it. Having multiple streams of income is key. I sort of lost everything in the pandemic. I guess that's the nicest way to say it. And trying to rebuild is hard, and I hustle really hard, and I've worked really hard to develop these systems and processes, and just flat out, I don't touch my emergency fund unless there's no other options. And this month I've had to go into my emergency fund just for my tip out money to go to work. That's not okay. So like I said, I'm grateful for this other job up and going. I have a contract for the semester, which goes to the sort of mid-end of December. I work until the 20th of December. Hopefully they'll like me and pick me up for the rest of the year, but that's not a guarantee. So all I have to work with is until the 20th. So I've set up a very hardcore budget, and I'd like to stick to it. But just like in the summer, it's kind of up in the air because I don't know what's going to happen with my tip outs. So I looked, I have an app. It's called Waiter Pal, like a hand with an arm like this on the App Store, and a little emoji hand holding a tray. It kind of keeps track of stuff. It keeps track of my hourly wage, my tipped wages, how much I'm tipping out, how many hours I'm working, what's my average hourly rate, such things like that. But it doesn't take into account the taxes. So it's a little bit skewed when you're like, oh my gosh, I made all that money and I really didn't. But it did look, and it's, you know, I'm paying somewhere in the neighborhood of like $800 to $900 a month in tip outs. So should be more like $200 a week that I'm putting aside, but I'm not, it's like I'm not making enough to put that much aside, you know? So it's like a little bit of a chicken before the egg. So I'm hoping to right the ship on that. And that big change made big changes. So I had a binder set up, 2 binders set up for like a head, which is what I called it. And then basically it was like a doubling envelope system. So it was like, this is like my envelope for utilities. This is my envelope 1 month ahead. And it's just too complicated because I keep having to borrow from those envelopes. If I just put it in there and left it alone, well, that would be one thing. That's just not possible with this system. So I sort of like worked out what equals 1 month. Right? 1 month of expenses. And so my ultimate goal is to get 6 months of living expenses put aside. But for now, I'm thinking 2 months is good, right? And so I know what I need to make 2 months of expenses be in that emergency fund. I know what the number is. So I'm getting rid of those binders, right? I have the physical binders and I just rearranged them. But I got rid of a lot of envelopes because I'm like making it more simple, but also too, it's like going for an end number as opposed to this particular dollar is going in this particular envelope. It doesn't really matter because once it goes into the account, it's all a big slush, right? And so it was like, I don't need to do all the envelopes if I know what the big number is and I'm aiming for that big number. So instead of going through all these checklists and making sure, did I put enough money for the pets? Did I put enough money for my cell phone bill? You know, it's like the ahead is a number that I'm shooting for in the bank account balance. All right, so let's see what I changed up here. The yellow one, which I don't bring out very often because it's for savings things, and the summer was lean girl summer, so there really wasn't a lot of savings. All right, so lower priority sinking funds, the Pilates reformer. I was going to have my living room, parlor, whatever you want to call it. I was going to have it be a dance / Pilates studio / living room. And I ended up getting an incredibly cool piece of furniture, which is quite large. And so I had to abandon that idea. I mean, I had a choice. I could have chosen not to buy that piece of furniture and stick with my original plan. But I have a garage, a freestanding garage that I would like to renovate and turn into like a workout room with a swim spa. So I'm like, I just need to wait and do that over there. So this is, you know, going to sit on ice for a minute. Renovations. I'm currently renovating right now. Right now, the thing that I'm saving up for is finishing the wallpaper in the living room. But alas, there's nothing in there. There's nothing in any of them right now. But that's where it will go. Plastics. I am a big fan of plastic surgery, and I do get it, but nothing right now. Travel. I'm huge on travel. I was going all over the place before the pandemic, and now I've just been, I do go on a couple of trips, the quick trips here and there, but for the travel fund, it really is for me going as a performer, and that's just kind of on ice at the moment. And gifts. I have this in the budget to put things aside, you know, for the holidays, so that we'll get some themes. All right, yellow down. This is my sort of mint, 1950s mint green. And I don't have a chapter review in this one because I just moved it around. Moving van. Moving van for all of my things in storage in Dallas. They're actually in 3 different places in Dallas, 4 different places. So I have to go down there and consolidate everything for when the moving van happens. I want to get someone who's licensed and bonded because it is 1,000 miles. And then whenever we will be moving, it will be cold and there will be ice and snow. And I'm not relying on friends and family. I want professionals. I do have it in the budget that I created to have this fully funded by that December 20th cutoff. Of course, I can't really get a movie van like literally at Christmas. So in January is like the worst for weather here. So it might be February or March, but that is happening. That is on my budget, finally. Not only will I be reunited with my things, which I love very much because obviously I was paying to hold them, but that also eliminates $200 out of my monthly budget. The Myrtle haul. Myrtle is my travel trailer, and she'll be the next thing. So if they extend my contract through the spring semester, this will be what I will concentrate on. Will that happen? I don't know. To be determined. I really hope so. It's a $5,000 estimate, which is what I was given for 1,300 miles. It'll be on a flatbed trailer, and that's really important to me because she's so old. I don't want her rattling around. And, you know, if somebody, when you're hauling something, there's always risks, right? Extended risk because you have an extended, you know, the length of vehicle. But she'll be elevated up on a flatbed. So hopefully she'll get here safe and sound. And I would like to make her a seasonal Airbnb in my backyard to begin. And then when I do get my first rental property, she'll be moving to the driveway of the rental property, and I'll rent both the house and Myrtle. Myrtle in the seasons, because obviously when it's really, really hot and really, really cold, you don't want to be in there. But I love her very much. I could not have done any of this without living in my tiny home. And I can't wait to be reunited. Vehicle maintenance. Well, I just had a flat tire. Nothing in there right now. Dallas gas. That's approximately how much it costs for me to get to Dallas and back. I need to take my car down and do some things with it. So I need to save up to go down there. All right. My crocodile green. The essentials. So this was my white binder. Now it's the green binder. So let's see. Looks like that one's coming out. So my mortgage, home insurance, car insurance, water, DTE is electric, internet, and pets. All the things. This says 2 months because that is, I'll take those out eventually, but that is how much I had put aside when I was doing it, you know, envelope by envelope for every single bill. Didn't get that back in apparently when I was doing that. Car insurance, city water, DTE, the internet, very important, and American water, and pets. Then we have the red envelope. Red is very alarming. Red gets your attention. So I'm like, I'm going to make those taxes. Taxes and tax prep. I do feel like tax prep tends to sneak up on me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to pay these people like $400 or $500. So I'm going to put an envelope aside for that this year. And I need to put money aside for taxes because I have a W-2 job and I have a 1099 job. So it does give me best of both worlds as far as, you know, taking advantage of the tax system, but I still have to pay taxes. So my gray, which is by far, I think, the most beautiful. And these are recurring, monthly recurring, number 2. Let's see, Dallas mailbox, Detroit mailbox, SAG, Equity, Yoga Alliance, Mint, and Weebly. So I have mailboxes in Dallas and Detroit where I get my official mail. Nothing comes to my house except for Amazon packages for fun. All my official mail goes to my official mailboxes, keeps me safe and anonymous in the world. And also 2, if somebody was to steal things out of my mailbox, which it has happened before, they're not going to get things like my social security number and my bank statements and things like that. All right, SAG, Screen Actors Guild. In theory, I put aside $15 a month until my bills are due. I think it's twice a year that I pay. I think it's like 6 months earnings every 6 months, something like that. AEA is Equity, and I had it set to $20 a month aside for that union. That's the union for stage actors. The Yoga Alliance, which I am a part of, $5 a month. I really don't pay that much a year, but it's a wonderful organization to be part of. And I do really hope that I can get on with the studio and teach yoga here. We'll see, hopefully. Mint, $40 a month to the side. I pay it every 3 months, and it's been great so far. I want to say it's been almost 2 years since I moved to Mint and Mint Mobile. It's been wonderful. Weebly, $15 a month in theory. And I pay them once a year to host my website. Again, I don't want to be like, oh, by the way, this is due in a week. And then it's like, oh, where am I going to get this from? I don't want to be surprised. I don't want to be caught off guard. I don't want to be negative on my bank account. You know, all of those things. So I'm trying to get ahead of it. And the final one, the black crocodile. Not real. Okay. Monthly recurring. That was a monthly recurring 2. This is a monthly recurring 1. Lot rent, storage, SiriusXM, car, net credit, Cigna, Jax, and Lawn Love. So lot rent, Myrtle, my vagabond turtle, who is very stationary now. She's older, and I almost lost her on the highway when I was pulling her to New Mexico, and the welding that was holding my tow hitch in my car itself broke. And it actually came off in a parking lot, in a gas station parking lot. And for that, I am eternally grateful, because that was my home and everything in it. And I almost lost it on a highway. So that was an incredibly stressful day. That was a stressful situation. That is another reason why I don't want to pull her anymore. I definitely want that flatbed truck to bring her safely. But I do pay rent for where she's at right now. And it's $200 a month. Storage, I pay about $200 a month. Cannot wait to get that moving van. It's finally happening. SiriusXM in my car. Love it. Highly recommend. Z-Car itself. Net credit. I'm halfway there. I'm done with that. Cigna is a policy that I have for cancer, because there's a lot of cancer in my family. Jack's Car Wash. I didn't know why car wash places were such a big deal up here until the snow began, and now I do. And yes, I have a monthly subscription. It's wonderful. And Lawn Love. I was with an app called Lawn Love, and now I just love my lawn. So I kept the provider who was taking care of my yard and just hire him privately. And that's where I put money aside for my lawn. That is my new binder system. And of course, it's just kind of like a new mindset moving forward. So I've had a week. It's been a week. Yes. Week and a half or so since they implemented the new system, with no warning. I meant there was no warning this was happening at all. It was like, oh yeah, as of today, you're not taking cash home ever again. It was like, what? So that's another reason why I had to drain all my envelopes. Like, if I had been given a notice to prepare, I would have. But just out of the blue, oh, by the way, and I mean, it's sent people scrambling. A lot of people have quit. Yeah, I don't know. I actually love the person I work for. I love the owners, and I'm quite happy for the most part, but I don't know, a change may need to happen. It's kind of in the air. I guess we'll see. Thank you so much for tuning in to the changes in my binders. I'm looking forward to seeing what I can do with this, and I hope everybody has a great Labor Day. Have a wonderful weekend. Be safe, and if you're on the water, wear a life jacket. Bye.